Welcome to the Kristi Jones Show. This is your go-to podcast for living life to the fullest. I am a life and empowerment coach, speaker, and business owner in multifamily real estate. I am a woman passionate about helping others build a life that they truly desire. We'll talk about how to make the most out of every day, from setting meaningful goals to embracing the present moment. So join us as we explore the depths of living a life that is full of joy, purpose, and satisfaction. Well, hello, my friends. Welcome back. Welcome back to another week of the Kristi Jones Show, where I love to talk about all the things to live your life to the fullest. So let's just dive right into what I am here to share this week. And I'm going to start with the question of what is holding you back? What is holding you back? What is stopping you from doing the thing that you want to do? From pursuing maybe a new opportunity that you're wanting to do, something that you're wanting to try. This could be anything from a business opportunity to a hobby or an interest you have, a class you want to take, an interest that you want to look into and you think you might want to sign up for that. It could be a business that you want to start. You have something in the back of your brain that you just keep mulling over. But year after year, month after month goes by. What's holding you back? That's what we're going to talk about on today's episode. And I'm really excited to just share some insight into what your brain is telling you when you come up against these situations and why you're not moving forward. What is holding you back? So that's what we're going to dive into today. I'm so glad that you're here. Thank you again for being part of this journey with me I started this podcast earlier this year, and I'm having a fabulous time at it. It is a lot of work. There's a lot of moving parts that I didn't quite know was part of the equation when I started. But that's how most things go, right? You have to do the thing to learn what's actually involved. And so I don't know, I'm going to talk about starting this podcast a little later on what's holding you back. But, I thought about for a long time, should I start this podcast? Yeah, I want to. And then there were all the unknowns. And I almost let that stop me from starting this podcast. And I laugh because there's times that I go, well, I didn't know that was going to be part of it. Well, you learn as you go. And this has been a really fun adventure for me. And again, I just really thank you for being here, listening. And I really love your feedback and I love your questions. And that's actually how it helps me create more episodes. It helps me understand, what to bring to the future episodes. So definitely. And you guys know how to reach me on, email, social media. You can drop me a DM on Instagram or Facebook. So anyways, there's that. All right, let's just get right into it. So what is holding you back? Think of something in your life that you are, like I said, that you're wanting to do, wanting to try, wanting to pursue. And so why aren't you doing it? If you keep thinking about it and it keeps coming up, why are you holding back? What is it? Well, let me help you a little bit on some of the things that are going on in your brain as to what is holding you back from doing the thing. So our brains are wired. Let's go hundreds of thousands of years ago with how our brains were made to protect us and to keep us safe and to survive and to, foresee danger. I mean, our brains were there to keep us alive, to protect us. And although we've evolved and, as human beings, I mean, we're much more evolved from, just safety, worrying about everyday safety and how to feed ourselves. I mean, all the very primal things that our brain was initially wired to do. Well, we don't have those same issues on a day-to-day basis, But our brain still reverts to some of the things that it wants to do to protect us, to keep us safe. It is wired to keep us safe, protected, alive. So anytime things come up that cause us discomfort, be it emotional, physical, whatever, our brain goes to work because it's just doing its job. It's just saying, hey, we're comfortable here. We're good. Like, why rock the boat? Why do this? So part of it is just our brain wanting to protect us. And it's just the way it's wired. So that's where we get to come in and say, all right, I hear the quiet chatter, all the reasons, like it's going to give you all the tragic reasons why you shouldn't do the thing that you're wanting to do. You're going to, if it's something new you're wanting to try, you're going to embarrass yourself. It's going to fail. A lot of it's ego driven too. A lot of it's stuff that's going to prick at your ego and just like, tap the bear, poke the bear, whatever the saying is. So it's wanting to protect you. It's going to say, hey, yeah, that could not work. It's honestly looking at worst case scenario. Your brain is like looking at all the things that could potentially go wrong. So it's just wired to try to keep you safe and comfy and protected and all the things. And so what you need to do in those instances is you have to, that's where you have to do that self-talk. You have to talk to yourself and you have to say, I hear you, acknowledge. I mean, you can't deny the fact that all these things are creeping up and your brain is pointing out all the things that could go wrong, all the reasons why this is a terrible idea. Again, most of those are going to somehow correlate to wounding your ego, an emotional issue or an ego issue, not so much like a life or death issue. So that's when you get to tell your brain, all right, cool, I hear you, but we're good. And I got this. You're an adult. You can talk yourself through this and tell that side of your brain, like, I appreciate you pointing out all the things. You're just trying to keep me safe. However, I know I can go try this. I can pursue this. I can do this. Now, even knowing that some of those things that your brain is saying, red flag, like this may not work, this could happen, danger, you're going to, it could fail. You can embarrass yourself. The laundry list is so long. Our brains are so good at coming up with a bajillion reasons why something isn't a good idea. But that's when you just have to say, it's okay. Like, what those things are, but they're not life and death situations. So you get to talk to your brain and say, you know what, I got this. So even think that thought through. Like, if the worst case situation or the worst outcome would be, let's just pick one, that it would be embarrassment, humiliation. You'd look stupid in front of a group of people. Let's say you're going to go try something new. You've never done it before. So you're going to be in a vulnerable situation and you might look kind of silly doing it because you've never done it before. So can you survive that? The answer is yeah, you can survive that. It's not a life or death issue. It's that you just want to avoid an uncomfortable feeling. And so you're equipped to navigate those waters, though. So you just have to talk to your primitive brain and say, no, I got this. Like, yeah, I could look a little silly trying this new thing, but I'm okay with that. I'll be okay. I will be okay. And so you have to just talk yourself through that. Acknowledge your brain's just trying to do its job. It's just trying to come up with all the reasons why it's not a good idea, because what we're doing right now works and we're comfortable. And so a great example of this is going to be anytime you want to, let's say, if when it comes to changing how you eat doing something is better for your body, that's more nutritious for your body. I do not believe in diets. I'm not a diet person. I've never been a diet person. I like to eat. I have hypoglycemia actually. Well, I did, all the years growing up. So eating was definitely something I needed to do. Otherwise, it had a bad outcome. And so I had to always eat often. And obviously I didn't eat like majorly healthy my entire life. I mean, that improved as I got older. But so dieting I'm a big no diet person. Actually struggled with an eating disorder early on in my life, and realized, looking back, how horrible I felt by not eating the right way. Ugh. I mean, now I understand how valuable feeding my body is. So back to the little diet example. Got off on a tangent there. Anyways, diet examples. So a lot of people want to restrict their intake of food or go on a diet, or, I'm more about like eating to fuel the body, putting good whole food in the body. Like, we have to feed the machine. So I'm about that. So if you are telling yourself, hey, I'm going to go on a diet, and your brain's going, red flag, right? Because it's like, no, we're comfortable here. We're good. Let's not change anything. But maybe you need to adjust what you're eating. But your body's like, well, we're used to all this over here. Like, we don't have to narrow it down. But maybe that you do need to kind of dial in your eating so it's better fuel for your body. You need to be making different choices with what you are choosing to eat. Well, and that chitter chatter in your brain already starts going, I don't know, not a good idea. We're good. We like all that we're picking from right now, right? And so before you even start to make the changes or the improvements, your brain's already coming up with all the reasons why this is a super bad idea. It's like, nope, bad idea. Even like on an activity level, if you need to change and increase your workouts, you need to start moving your body. You need to start doing some things you haven't done before. Your brain just is like, whoa, hold on. Whoa, pause. We're good. Just chilling over here. Like, why are we going to do this? I mean, literally, I always do this because it's all this chitter chatter. And if you're listening to this podcast, you have no idea what I'm doing with my hands. But if you're watching this on YouTube, I'm putting my hand back here because it's like all this chitter chatter goes on in the back of our head, in the back of our brain. It's like all that noise. So it's telling you like, this is not a good idea, not a good idea. We're comfortable, we're good. But that's exactly why you have to talk back to it and say, no, I got this. I mean, I'm capable of making these changes, and remind yourself why you want to do these changes, why you want to incorporate these new practices in your life, and you just have to hush your primitive brain. It's just trying to do its job. But we're much more evolved. We have our prefrontal cortex. That's the part that is evolving you. That's where your prefrontal cortex that's where all the complexity is going on, the self-awareness, your desire to, your executive function skills are all in that area of your brain. So you just have to hush the chatter and know that the primitive brain's just doing its job. It's trying to keep you out of danger. It's always thinking of the worst case scenario a lot of the times. And you gotta flip that around. So know that your brain's just doing its job. It's just doing its job on trying to keep you safe. But what's holding people back 9 times out of 10 is their fear of what will go wrong. what's not going to work. I mean, their fear of, I'm going to look like a fool. Their fear of what others are going to think of them. I mean, it's going to be friends, even family, like the people that you love. I mean, they might even say, you're nuts. Like, why are you doing this? Why are you making this change? Especially if you're pursuing something, especially, let me say this, if you're pursuing something that someone in your family hasn't, or your family hasn't gone in that direction before. Or not necessarily even family, but let's just say your circle, your core group of people. If it's like brand new to them, they're going to think like, you're nuts. This is crazy. Why are you doing this? Like, why would you do this? And what I want you to think about is, why wouldn't you do this? Why wouldn't you pursue it? Why won't you go for it? So let's flip the script on that. Instead of like letting our primitive brain drive the train, let's say, on coming up with all the reasons why you're not doing the thing that you want to do, or you want to try, or you want to pursue, you got to flip the script on that. So as much energy as it takes to think of and listen to all the things that are holding you back, how about you lean into all the things that could go wildly right to that actually, that vision that you have of doing the thing, that it works. And it works at a level that your brain can barely comprehend. That it's so freaking amazing that you have to just sit and like go, oh my God, is that possible? So the answer is yes, it is possible. It is so possible. You know, everyone tends to always go to all the what ifs of what if this, what if that. And those are very real. What if? What if you fall flat on your face? What if you go try something new and you look like it's the first time you've ever done it? Well, I mean, what's going to happen? Again, these aren't life or death situations. It's not, what if I go stand in the middle of the street and see what happens when a car comes? Well, I mean, that's kind of pointless. You're going to get hit by the car if you don't move. And that's not safe. So, I mean, we're not talking about that. We're talking about what's holding you back from standing in the middle of the freeway. I mean, I'm not asking that. What I'm asking is, what's holding you back from doing the damn thing that you want to do? What's holding you back from that? What's holding you back from pursuing the thing that you've been thinking about for 3 freaking years? What is it? And we can come up with a laundry list of excuses. That, again, brain is so good. It is a sneaky little brain. Sometimes it loves to come up with all the excuses of, well, you don't have this, and you don't have this, and you can't do this. And I mean, you're not qualified like this. And then, I mean, you don't even have this. It just goes on and on and on. And realize that is just your primitive brain trying to protect you from the unknown. So we have to flip that. We have to flip that and say, absolutely, something looking ridiculous, doing something for the first time, or which is just an opinion anyways. I mean, who's to say what's ridiculous? It's just what you look like doing it the first time, whatever that thing is. It doesn't mean it's ridiculous. It's what you look like doing the new thing for the first time, period. So we have to kind of flip that and change that to, what if you pursue this? What if you go try this new thing you're wanting to do? I don't care what it is. You know what it is. When I started this conversation, something came into your brain, and it's there. So you know what your thing is. Could be something large, could be something small, could be something in the middle. But you know what that is. When I started this conversation, something came to mind for you. So what if you do it? You start moving in that direction, you take action on it, you actually do it, and it just is crazy successful. Or you're crazy good at it. Or you love it so much you can't even imagine your life before it. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, that's just as easy. And it's just as possible as it is possible that it doesn't work. It's just as possible that you don't get the outcome you hope for. Okay. So when you automatically go to you let your brain take over, your primitive brain take over and tell you all the reasons why you're holding back to do the thing you want to do, to try the thing you want to try, you've ignored the other possibility of everything that is wildly possible. So sit, and when this activity starts going on in your head, sit and think about, just tell your brain, chill out, hush, give me a minute. And then maybe you need to write it down. Maybe you just need to say it to yourself. Maybe you just need to sit and visualize for a while. But I want you to begin to think of all of the wild, best outcome, unbelievable outcome that could be. I want you to think about that. Visualize that. How does that, and there's a whole visualization process that I take people through on this exercise. I'm not going to dive into that in this podcast, but start that process with, begin thinking everything that could go exactly as you'd hoped on the thing that you're holding back on. What does that look like? What does that look like if it is wildly successful? Because you guys, I'm here to tell you, it is so possible. It is so possible. So I've said this before, sometimes we let our brains, our primitive brain, dictate our mindset, dictate our actions, dictate, like, are we going to think this or are we going to think this? And so when you know that your brain's just trying to do its job, okay, so then you just have to talk back to that primitive brain and say, I know that is the way for me to be safe and protected. And I know that you're just trying to keep me safe and protected. But this is also a definite possibility. And so I'm going to be thinking of all the ways that this could work out for me in the wildest way. And a lot of this, I share this because as you move through life, it is so easy to look back and then be like, why did I not go for it? Why did I let that stop me? Why did I not try that? And then you realize, oh, it's because I was scared of this, or this. So and what that does later is you'll have feelings of regret. You'll have feelings of, wished I would have, could have, should have. All because you listen to the primitive brain. And so you have to learn how to decipher what's just trying to keep you safe and protected, and then what is also an equal possibility. So as much as you can believe this, you can also believe this. There's two times in my life that I would say where I didn't stop with, like, the fear-based thinking and the primitive brain telling me, this is a bad idea, this is a bad idea. Why are you doing this? And so there's two times that I definitely, I would say that just right now that come to mind. And one would be when I was 25 and basically starting my life over, as a single mom, and, you know, really struggling in all the ways, and truly, had that burning desire to build a life that I wanted for myself and for my child. And I had all the parts of my brain telling me, like, why that wasn't a good idea, why this is danger, why there's so many unknowns, even though I was already in danger, unknowns, chaos. But that part of my brain, because was just like, whoa, I don't know, you don't have all the parts of this figured out. So there was tons of that chatter going on in my head. But I definitely learned then that I had to quiet the noise in my brain, my primitive brain, and lean into the best case scenario. What could be the best case scenario if I do this? So that was one time that I did it. Second time would be when I started, the first time I became an entrepreneur. First time I became a business owner. I was 32, and I had a great job, and I was making great money, and I loved my job. Um, I really, had just really had a great experience with the company, with what I was doing. I had a lot of success. I mean, I really, really loved it. But through a change of events, it was time and a great opportunity for me to step out and start a business in multifamily housing management. And so I was 32 years old, and my husband and I were on the same page that this is a good move. But I was still, don't think I didn't have tons of talk going in my head, especially the closer I got to the actual D-Day of, okay, why are you doing this? All right, wait, whoa. You got to really, this, you know how to do your job. You've got to a good space. You're making great money. Like, everything's good. I mean, not everything was perfect. Obviously I knew of changes that I wanted to incorporate if I started a new business. But I mean, life was, it was good. And then I'm going to go into the land of the unknown. So by myself. So it was another time that I was hearing my brain tell me about all the worst case scenarios and all the reasons why, like, whoa, pump the brakes, what's going on? And that was a time where I chose to believe and lean into the best possible outcome that could happen. And that's what I clung to. Because, and I've said this before, but it takes just as much energy to lean into fear as it does to lean into faith. So they're both going to require my energy. So I'm going to go in this other direction. It feels good. It's hopeful. Leaning into the faith, leaning into all the possibilities. So that was the second time I say that I really applied that heavily in my life. And then the next time would be this last time in my 40s, my mid to late 40s, when I had decided to step away from day-to-day operations at our business and lean into what I felt called to do next. And so now, with what I do as a life coach and a speaker, that wasn't a hard, because I had gone through those previous situations. This one wasn't, when I had gone through deciding what I was going to do next and what I was going to build and create next. I didn't have that big battle going on in my head, because my automatic default is to lean into the best case scenario. Like my brain just, I go there. Like the noise from all the primitive brain, that gets quieter and quieter as you get more experience at looking at living in that space of the best case scenario, the best outcome, the possibility. And so when you want to sit and think about, oh my gosh, if I try this thing, or if I, go pursue this thing that I keep talking about, if you constantly are going to the worst case, doom and gloom, all the reasons, all the fear-based thinking, and you're letting your brain take control of that, you need to know that there's another option, and that is to go, this could be the freaking best decision I've ever made in my life. And this could change everything. And so you have to train your brain. You have to train your brain to go that direction, to lean into the vast possibility. And I'm talking, you guys, you have to think big. Do not put limits. Do not put limits on yourself, on whatever your belief system is, whether, don't put limits on God, on the universe, on your creator. Do not put limits. There is unlimited success and potential there for you. Don't put limits on it. So when you think about what's holding you back, know that your brain, when it's talking to you on all the crap that can happen and not work out, it's just doing its job. It's its old primitive job, and it just doesn't know any better. So you have to then use your higher thinking self and know that is all of that your primitive brain's trying to tell you, and know that the opposite of that is a very, very great possibility as well. And real, so that again, you get to be in the driver's seat of this. That's such the cool part. That is such the cool part. You're not a victim to your brain of what it's telling you. So as I wrap up this episode, and I've talked about, the primitive brain, and then, all it's giving you, like all the doom and gloom outcome possibility. And I'm saying to quiet that noise, and know that the exact opposite of that is also a possibility. In that, I want you to pause and just let yourself know, and give your brain time to know that it's already given you all the negative, right? And so why give that more time and attention than you would all the amazing possibilities that could come from the thing that you've been thinking about the whole time I've been doing this podcast or this episode. Okay, so give equal, if you have to do this, give equal time to both, to both areas, to both scenarios, to both what could go wrong and what could go wildly right. So don't spend more time over here mulling over like all the crap that could go wrong and be a disaster. Okay, don't spend more time there than you do in the space of thinking about how amazing this could be. Everything that could go wildly crazy right. All the possibility. So at minimum, give them equal airtime, equal attention time at a minimum. And then ideally, eventually give less time and attention to the worst case scenario, to all the crap that your brain's telling you, like all the reasons why you shouldn't do this, why you shouldn't try this, why you shouldn't blah, blah, blah. Give more attention, more of your time and attention, your mental attention, to what could go wildly right. I'm telling you, if you do that, it's going to change. It is going to change forever how you approach things when you're like, why am I holding back on this? And so in closing, let me tell you, here's the, and I had already said, like, most times we're thinking like the thing that could go wrong is a lot of it's ego driven, right? It's the things that's going to embarrass us. It's the things that we're going to, feel bad about, or feel bad about ourselves, or about how other people see us. A lot of things is just a little bit of bruised ego, honestly. So if things don't work out the way that you want when you go to do the thing, try the thing, be the thing that you've been thinking about and you're not doing, 9 times out of 10, the bad things you're thinking about have to do with affecting your ego. So to me, that is not worst case scenario. That is not like the worst thing that could happen, To me, the worst thing that could possibly happen is that you go through your life and you live your life and you never explore what your true full potential is. To me, that is the worst situation. That's the worst end result, is that you go through life and you have all this stored up potential, all of these stored up dreams, all of these stored up ambitions, all of these things that you want to try, do, experience, and you never do. And you never do. To me, that is the worst possible outcome of not trying, of not going for it, of not doing the damn thing. And it's just so not worth it. You want to instead get to a time in your life where you look back and you go, man, this turned out so freaking amazing. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? And you won't have the ability, or you won't even have that opportunity to say those words if you don't try, if you don't go for it, if you don't put yourself out there, do the thing, try the thing, be the thing, whatever it is. That's not even going to be a possibility until you decide that you're going to focus on all the things that could go wildly right by doing that. So you are stronger than you think. Realize that. And, a bruised ego, everybody survives it. Like, we've all taken a little hit, two or 3 or 100 in our lifetime, and we all survive. We all survive. So I want you to instead take some time, and whatever you've been thinking about as you've been listening to this episode, what's holding you back? What's holding you back? Because it is, I know that it is what's going on in your head. It is what's going on. It's what you're telling yourself. It's that you're spending too much time hanging out in the what ifs and the worst case scenarios and all the doom and gloom. So what's holding you back? Again, worst case scenario is getting all the way through your life and then not doing the thing, not trying, not getting back up. I mean, you might get knocked down, you might try and it may not, you just get back up, you go again. If you still have that desire, you adjust and you go. So I encourage you to spend some time thinking about what's stopping you, what's holding you back. What do you want to go for? And I want you to freaking go for it. I want you to do it. I want you to make a decision today that you're going to take a step in that direction. Because when you do, you have no idea the amazing, amazing things that are waiting for you on the other side of that decision. Well, I'm so glad we got to spend this time together today. I know you found value in this talk, and I know I'll be talking more about it because it's one of my favorite subjects. So until then, I will see you on the next episode, and I want you to have a fabulous week and really dig into what's holding you back. And I know that you are going to decide to step forward and lean into all that possibility. I'm so excited for you. I'll see you next week, friend. Take care.